So I was speaking to a billionaire with a B for about 2, 3 minutes. I got time with him. It was thanks to a connection of mine that I made through the podcast. It was a eight-figure entrepreneur, a multimillionaire that lives in Miami. He's not like your typical Miami guru, 18-year-old, whatever, but he was like in his 40s or 50s, and he built a physical business first and all of that. And basically, he introduced me to a billionaire friend of his, or basically it was just like on visiting him at his home, and he said, "Yo, I got a billionaire in my home right now. If you want to speak to him, I can call you and give you like a few minutes with him." And bro, I was unprepared. I didn't know what to ask him. I knew that I could get a lot of value from speaking to this guy, but I just really didn't have anything in my mind that I could ask him. So I don't want to be a leech if I don't necessarily need the value. But then I got the idea, because I've been in this situation before where I got a podcast and I was unprepared, no questions, because it was last minute. So I've already been kind of like prepared for these types of situations. But anyways, this guy, basically, I asked him, "What do you think is your best like tip for like getting the most work done?" I feel like sometimes 24 hours just isn't enough in a day, and I just don't get enough work done. And I asked him, what's your like tip for that if you ever struggle with that? And he said, even in your early stages, you should always be looking to delegate as much work as possible. Like, you should be working like maybe a few hours a day and voluntarily. And he said that this is like the most common trait in most businesses and most business owners as well, that they don't work a lot. And I asked him, well, how can I do that? Like, I can't really afford to hire like 5 people to do the work for me now. I do it all by myself. Actually, I have one guy from my thumbnail agency that does the thumbnails, and I give him 50% commission. And I told him about that, and he said, yeah, see, right there, just repeat that, rinse and repeat. Tell him if he doesn't have any friends, that you could hire, and pay commission only. If you don't have the capital to pay someone, then don't. Just give him 50% of what he makes and only get him paid once you get paid. It'll be harder because most people need a promise up front and need the money up front. But you should be putting more effort into finding people to do the work for you than you doing your work yourself. Now, I don't know if this guy's worth like 1 billion or fucking 5 billion or whatever. He didn't tell me like exactly. I don't know this guy. He's not really on social media or whatever. I don't even know what line of business he was in, right? But I just trusted my friend. And when I heard that, bro, to be honest, I was skeptical for a bit after I hung up on the call later on. But then I just thought about it. Like, bro, who the fuck am I? I'm worth less than 6 figures. I'm not even worth 100,000 yet. How arrogant of me to like not pay attention to what this billionaire with a B gave me as advice. Bro, so much traffic here. But anyways, that's when I put that story up on my Instagram and as a YouTube short, basically saying that I'm hiring some DM setters, because I got a guy that makes the thumbnails for me, but I'm hiring DM setters as well, and I still am, by the way. And so that's when I really got the thought of making that story, and like I can't really afford to like pay someone $1,000 a month and then have like 3 people like that. I just can't afford it right now. And so with that in mind, I took his advice. Hire people for commission only, and the really hungry ones will take on it. And so I did that. I found one DM setter, but I'm still looking for more. So if you're willing to, if you're a DM setter and you want to work and you want to do commission only, maybe you've been in sales before and you take like 10% of what you make. Here, I want to give you 50% of what you make. DM me on Instagram. But basically, I was surprised at this advice, because I thought that this was the type of advice that you would give to someone who's already worth like 6 or 7 figures. And but no, he said that even now in the early stages, even if you're making less than 5K a month, you still should hire people to do the work for you. And your mind shouldn't be preoccupied with fucking outreaching, etc. And I was really surprised when he said that, because Alex Hormozzi's advice is the complete opposite. Like, you should be outreaching to 100 people a day and volume, and do it all yourself. I might take his advice for like 6 months and see how that does, but I have a good feeling about this. Like, I have one DM setter and one thumbnail editor. I still work myself. I still do the thumbnails and I still do outreach. But I really don't spend like 6, 7, 8 hours a day on it. Like before, I didn't work until 3 or 4 a.m. Now I'm able to wake up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. and, work like 3 hours a day. And it really freed up my time a lot, bro. So I kind of see what he's saying. But then the question arises, what the fuck do you do with the rest of your day, right? And then I really just got to thought, find more DM setters. Like, your work task shouldn't be the work task. Your work task should be finding people who will do the work task, because you don't want to be an employee. You don't want to be a fucking work mule in your business. You want to be the owner. You want to be the CEO. You want to be the one who's managing the team, etc. So with that in mind, that gave me the thought, oh my God, a guy just pulled up in front of me. Come on, bro. Go. Okay, anyways. That just gave me the thought that, yeah, most of my day should be finding more people to do the work, because as I said before, there's only 24 hours in a day, and when you do all the work, it seems like there's not enough hours in a day, whereas there is, really. You just have to find a way to work 500 hours in one day, and that's how you get to 10K a month, and then scale further. And so, yeah, instead of me working 10 hours a day in my business, I should be working 3 hours a day on finding, employees that are willing to work commission only for the first 2 months, and then pay them after I know that they make enough money. And that advice really helped me a lot. So, man, you know what? Learning from fucking people who are further up than you, and he's like miles ahead of me, bro. Like, by the time I'm worth 10 figures is $1 billion, I think. Bro, that'll be like a good fucking 20 years, bro, probably. At least 15, I expect. And so with that in mind, yeah, bro, connections will take you far, because, bro, this type of advice, that wouldn't even pop up in my mind, you know what I mean? Like, holy shit, bro, and I'm glad I can get to, share it with you now. Bro, this guy's a fucking slowpoke. What the fuck? Anyways, yeah. So that's it for today, boys. Heading home from the gym, I had an amazing shoulder and biceps day, and traps. And with this in mind, hope you utilize it. Do with it what you will. And yeah, God bless you. Bye.